How do, folks? So it's the 8th visit on the 11th of April. Lovely sunny day, 22 degrees, but I've just been sussed out by the guard bees when I came down here with all my stuff, and so I'm going to get my hood on to make sure that they don't bite me before I even start. So yeah, what can you do and all that. There's no telling. Lovely sunny day, you would think they'd be in a good mood, but I've no idea what's got into them. So we're just going to have a quick check, and bearing in mind that this sort of weather and these sort of conditions prompt swarming season, get prepared earlier than later. I'm hoping that these girls will still be okay, and there is a tactic that we can use to not get quite so panicky about things. But I've brought a roof and a floor and a crown board down here for 2 hives. So if we have to split this one even before we've got to honey production, just to cut them in half, then we can do it. It might not be this stage, it might be 2 more visits yet, or it could just happen very quickly. But you want to have your stuff down here in case, you know, you get caught out. So I just stack them like that. I've got 2 frames spare just to take the old, the last of the insulation honey pads, you know, the ivy honey. I've got a couple of spare ones there if they need more room. Don't know what's going to happen with that, but we'll just get in here. Very light yellow pollen. I mean, all the hedgerows are out now, so there's plenty for them to go at. It's just after 2 o'clock, maybe 2:15 on Friday afternoon. I can't get down here on Saturday because I'm out at a do. So this is the problem with hobby beekeeping. I have to kind of work my schedule around this. So these are getting quite oomphy in their want to get on with it mode. That's a busy sounding noise, it's not an angry sounding noise. So the most important thing is to clear that junk off there, which I forgot to do last time. And this colony, we've got to find and mark the queen, because I'm pretty sure she's in there, but we need a marked queen coming into swarm season if it's early, so it just makes the operation so much easier. So that is today's most important job with this colony, is to do that. So as usual, I'll shut down, get set up, and we'll get going. The other thing I've noticed is when I was recording some footage in the evening on Wednesday, that the footage in camera magnification 1, i.e. just standard, seemed to be much better than 0.5. So I'm wondering if that's what's causing the grainy footage for you. And if it has, then apologies for that. It's just my lack of understanding on how the technology works. So yeah, it's on 1, and I'm just going to have to try and... I put it on half because if I do that, you can see both boxes, you see. If I put it on 1, you can only see 1. So, but that might give you a better view of the frames and the queen and all the rest of it if we find her. So I'm just going to leave it there for doing the smoke trick and separating them, and then we'll just see how it goes. I'll try a few videos and see what they turn out like. I'm sure you can hear this noise to the side of me, but there's quite a lot of activity. It may be that there's a nectar flow come on, or it may be they're angsty. We won't know till we open up, but there's clearly something going on. And yet again I've forgotten my board to put over the top of this second box, so I'll just nip and get that. Here it is, brain dead or forgetful, or both. That box is pretty heavy, so it means there's either a nectar flow or they're using up the syrup and storing it. There's a little bit of this patty stuff left, but this already looks filled out. Oh, let me just check and see. Well, I'm going to do a lot more adjusting, I think, doing it this way. Yeah, this might be better, I'm not sure. So you can see the edge there of brand new comb, and there's a whole load at the back there that you'll see when I take it out as well. So I'm guessing now that these girls will have filled this box up and they'll need a couple of new frames. There are a lot of bees been born in here. We might even have to go to supers soon. That might be what the trouble is, they haven't got enough room. Now there are my fears. This one where they do it freestyle, they've just filled the whole lot up with drone comb. So now I've got 2 frames of drone, maybe more, which is slightly annoying. But there's stored sugar syrup from where I've been feeding them, and again so there's going to be a bit of reorganisation, I think, and then taking out these insulation frames. And that's got eggs in it, so the queen is still in here, and you can see how you see this patch here where it's lighter colour, that's all eggs, and this is stored honey or nectar or sugar syrup, we're not sure which at the moment. And the same this side, see the difference in colour? So that's now nest, so the nest is right back here now. We've got to move this, hop this over 3 or 4 frames, and this is the top box, don't forget. So that's why they come up. So they've taken some of the ivy out of there and made eggs, or made a nest out of it. So there's a little bit there that really ought to come out. It's not. We'll get that to the back, I think. No eggs in there yet, but they're definitely making that into a brood frame. So I think we're going to move this one back, get all these old frames to the back and put the new stuff in the middle so they can get going. There we go. Full slab of brood, wall to wall. They're nice and warm. So I'm going to bring, while I'm in here, I'm going to bring this other one forward. This one, sorry. because that's got sugar in it or syrup in it. I might get them to empty that out. Actually, I can't do that, can I? I'm stuck now. Oh dear. I'm going to have to sacrifice that other one, I think. That brood, that drone comb, I think I'm going to have to sacrifice that. So now the danger is that they expand too much, too quickly, and then you can't, they've got nowhere to store the sugar or the syrup. So I might have to take them off syrup immediately. There's a full frame of capped brood. That can go here at the outside of the nest now, because it's got nothing there. We'll try and encourage them to draw that out and define that as the edge of the nest. Full slab of brood, full slab of brood. That'll all hatch and give somewhere else for her to lay, but it'll mean there'll be masses more bees in here, so they're going to be short of space. I might have to come down here with supers now. Looks like there is a bit of a nectar flow on, or as most beekeepers call it, honey flow, but honey doesn't come into the hive, nectar comes into the hive. So I'm being a bit fussy about that, but you, as a newbie, you need to know that, the difference. Yeah, you see there's a lot of storage here. They're storing a lot of stuff, so that can come in one. So that's a big nest now. Even on the top box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 frames of brood. They're going to want to swarm soon if we're not careful. And there's the last of the insulation stuff, so that's going to go. They don't need that anymore. We'll put this drone one at the front, so I don't really want that, but I don't want to sacrifice it just yet. Whoops, actually I won't. I'll put it at the front of the nest and put that spare one in here, like that. So that will do. They need a super box quickly, and I need to stop feeding them, otherwise you can't put a super on. I'm getting hassled by guard bees. So we'll just leave that there. Go on, clear off. Always check for the queen on the underside of there, and I'll have to move you now so you can see what you're doing. Just wonder if it's any better around here on the side. Might be better if you're looking over my shoulder. There you go. I was hoping a warm sunny day like this make it easier looking for the queen, but because there's a nectar flow or something going on, they are in rocket mode. So that one can go as well. That's the last of the insulation material, so we need the space. So they're probably going to be hacked off at that, but we need the space for the nest, because we're already up 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 and 9 is what? 17 frames? Somebody's got trapped. I can hear a squealing somewhere, and somebody's got trapped somewhere. Yeah, you see, this is more drone comb. So this is almost useless. I'm going to have to get rid of that next time. I can't get rid of it now because I need the frame in there, and I haven't bought enough frames. If it's the same next door, it's going to have to go. Pollen. Pollen and nectar. Somebody has got stuck. The hell have you got stuck on? I hear this squealing in my ear, and the trouble is that sets all the rest off. She's laying in there. You can see how busy they are. They're charging around the blooming frame everywhere. Loads of lovely eggs, look. Eggs and grubs. Can't see much in there. They are frantic. I've no idea why they kicked off like this. Brand new queen from last year. Calm as you like, as you saw about 4 visits ago, and now they've gone a bit doolally. Full slab of brood. Even though this is a good trick, you can see it doesn't work all the time. They're hassling me something rotten. There's a real sense of urgency in here. Where is that queen? See, that's how you want your drone comb to be. All on one frame, all at the front. Or at least 2 frames from the front. You see, this is all riddled with pollen at the front here. It could all go. I should have brought some more frames down with me, but I've only got... That one could go actually, but we've already got rid of one, haven't we? So there's 1, 2 frames out of here already. So I'm going to leave them with that. And have a quick look through here on the way back in case we've missed her, but she's just vanished. Quite often they can scuttle along the bottom of the frames from the front to the back of the hive and you don't even see it. So there is pressure on this hive in terms of space, as you can see. There are a lot of bees in here now, and it won't be long before they decide they've had enough and they want to go. So we're going to have to come down here on Sunday and put a super on here, and there's drones are coming out already there, look. Can you see him, big fella there? So there are a few drones starting to be hatched now. Where on earth have you gone? I was saying up at the last apiary on visit 7, which was the last visit last weekend, that I may, or she may have been cleaned too thoroughly for Varroa, and the bees have actually brushed the paint off her, and that's why I can't see her, because I'm looking for a queen bee and I can't see a queen bee. I'm looking for a red dot and can't see a red dot. So we'll just have to put this back together in a minute, bring some more frames down on Sunday and stick a super on the top, because they are out of space. Ah, and there she is. Can you believe it? So she is in there and she's marked. I'm taking you can see it here, great big thing. So that's a thankfully she's in there job. See how you get caught? They crawl around all over the shop. So the only real, it's not panic, but the only real concern now with this hive is space. So we've taken 2 more frames out, and I'll probably take 3 more frames out on Sunday. I'm not going to feed them now because there's a danger that they'll lift sugar syrup up into the supers. So yeah, I'll put the hive back together, and I'll come back to you when I've done it. So there you go, that hive's all set up, or shut up I should say, look. And this, we'll probably have to do the same with this one, purely because it was a bigger hive even in the first place. So I've done the smoke trick, so I'm just literally going to split them in half now. Blimey, that weighs a ton. So there are a lot of bees in here. And we've been caught short, I think. I might even have to come down here and put a super on tonight, I don't know. I haven't got the time, can you believe it? I've got to be away at 5 o'clock and it's 3 or something now. Just shows you what can happen so fast. Weather changes or stays good for longer than you think. They've stopped eating because there's nowhere to put it. I don't need this because there's plenty of pollen around. I'm almost going to have to come back with a blooming super. I'm not sure if you can see that bit there. There's fresh wax. If you start seeing fresh wax at the top of your top nest box, you are not in trouble, but they are getting to the point where they definitely need a super, and it's the same with the next super. You definitely need to expand the colony. So that's sort of open, but it's a nothing burger frame. Look at that, where that nest was. Either I forgot to move the drawing pins, or that's where it was and they've just gone nuts. Yeah, you see, they've filled it all up with blooming drone comb, or drone brood. One of those great ideas that is just a nightmare in practice. So that is, from me, a definite no. I'm not doing that, even though it sounded like a good idea, because I just don't want that many drones. And this is rammed with honey. Too much and it can go. Actually, what I think I might do is I might put that there and get a shot of that one. They've got that open. Decisions, decisions. Do I get rid of this one? So I might have to sacrifice this drone comb. I don't need that many drones. See, you can see all the grubs in there. I hope you can anyway. There's loads of grubs here, but it's just drones everywhere, and you don't want drones. You want workers if you want honey production, because the drones, believe it or not, just sit around and eat food and wait for a virgin queen. Nothing new there then. So that's going to be one of the sacrificial frames, I think, and we'll move this to the back or the front, because that's a bit awkward, that bulging honey. So I think we'll move this one, which has got some ivy honey on it. That can be the next to go. Right, this is full of honey, but they could use that and turn it into nest. So I'll exchange it for this one, which is nest, although they haven't drawn it out properly yet. That's definitely going to be nest, and it's probably got eggs in. Yep, eggs and grubs in there. So I'm going to move that back, move this forward. Again, to give this sense of the nest being bigger for them. So they think the nest is bigger. Full slab of brood. Full slab of brood. That's got to be born, you see, and it's got to go somewhere. So it's all very well saying, oh, there's somewhere for the queen to lay, but where are all the bees going to go? They need more room. So this is another visit on Sunday, I think. Full slab of brood, queen cup at the bottom there. That thing just there, that's got to go. There's nothing in it, thankfully. Wall to wall, kind of few pepper pot holes, but not much. Another one wall to wall, so they could, this lot, as I keep saying, the Italian influence, you could quite easily go 2 supers on these. There's the queen. I know you can see her now because I can see her on the camera. Look at that beauty. Right, so to protect her, we'll put her inside here. No danger of squashing her, and then we'll lift the others over See, that's another one of those frames, all full of blooming drone. That was a disaster. To say the least. Did I say that had stuff on it? Yeah, that's the drone one. Right. You can have a new frame there. Give them a new frame at the top here as well, because it makes it easier for them to draw it out, because it's hotter up here. So everything good so far. Seen the queen. Again, I'm going to stop feeding them, let them use up some of the reserves in there, so that they create more space. And then on Sunday we'll come back and put a super on for them. Not sure if the bee gods have been in here, but that thing was had a little stick over the entrance as well. So that's a bit odd. Let's hope you can see this. Really wants to be up a bit, doesn't it? About there. Right, let's try that. We're only having a quick look here because we've seen the queen. We just want to see how much room they've got. There's a lot of bees in here now. That's the last of the insulation slabs, and I will keep them because if we're into swarming season we might need those as insulation, but they might end up being melted, and I'll show you how to do that in other videos. That could go as well. There's a little bit of pollen in there but nothing significant, so we could probably get away with. See how they're filling up spotty with pollen, different flavours of pollen. Again there you see, so they've got enough resources to start building comb now. So we're going to move these two inside the nest. I'm not quite sure why they're not drawing that. But yeah, both of those can go inside the nest now. And there is the nest. Nice pattern there. Wall to wall, relayed in the middle. First question, where are all the bees going to go? So you do need to have a super on here, definitely. Hatching brood, hatching brood. hatched brood and laid out again. So this colony is going to be huge very quickly. Yeah, again you see, massive nest. It won't be long before these girls start thinking, do you know what, we've had enough of this nonsense, there's not enough room, we're going to go. That's got eggs in it. You might be able to see them down now, now the sun's shining in there. Eggs and grubs. Goes behind the shadow of the camera, you can't see them. Look at that. That's exactly how you want it. Full slab of drones right at the front. I'm guessing we could get rid of that one of those front ones as well. So that is a big old nest. See how that's changed in a week? Doesn't take long. They really need a super today, really. That's poor planning on my part. I did think about bringing one down here just in case, but as always, I thought it would probably be okay. But it wasn't. And you don't really want to open them twice in one day. Well, they've got something to go at. They've got those two new frames. Right. As you can hear, they're fairly jumpy, so I'm going to stop now and get them all together and quieten them down. So, quick walk round at the end. Something's definitely changed. Either it's late in the day, I don't know, but I'm getting properly bashed here. You can hear them buzzing around me, listen. How do folks, it's the 8th visit, part 2. We're down at Apiary 2 in the morning, Sunday, because Saturday I was out all day at a conference. And so before we start getting hassled by the grumpy biatches that were there on Friday that you saw, as you can see, I didn't get down here with supers, which is where the honey's stored, because I just had to get going and it was too late, and etc, etc, etc. And I must stop keep saying etc, etc. How do folks, it's the 8th visit, or part 2 8th visit at the Apiary 2. And before we start getting hassled by the biatches that were grumpy on Friday, I'm just going to run through what we're actually going to do. You can see I didn't get down here with supers, just had to get away too quickly. So I thought while we're here, we'll just explain it. We've got to, well, I've got to replace a new box, because I don't know whether you notice on the orange ones, the Italian ones, on the second colony we look at, the frames aren't doing that. The box is slightly curved or bent, and they're really tight to get out. So I'm going to just change the box, this box, and just lift the nest out and put it in this new box. This is just holding a whole bag load of frames with foundation on, because we're going to get shot of those. Oh, you can't see them. He says we're going to get shot of those with the stick in there. There's quite a bit of honey in there. That's actual honey, so there must be a nectar flow on somewhere. And the conker trees are just coming into the trumpet stage with the little things going up, so the flowers will be next. So there's hedgerow honey or hedgerow nectar coming in from somewhere. There's some tree nectar, there's various bits and bobs around here. But anyway, let me just shut up and explain how the queen excluder, because if you put a super on, then you need to put a queen excluder on. You saw this in the rescue colony failure episodes, and what it is, the best way, I've been trying to think of the most imaginative and best way to explain it. So this is your nest box. As you've seen, there's one nest box, there's a downstairs and an upstairs. So all the activity goes on there. The food all comes in, the shopping comes in through the front door. The girls just dump it and say, you deal with it. So they take it from these two frames, which is why I always put the drone comb third one back, because they use these two for storing nectar and food, pollen and etc. And then the other bees take it up into the top nest where all the youngsters are, the babies are being born. We won't go there. And then if you imagine, the best way I can think of describing this is it's just a series of loft hatches. See those little rectangles? Each one of those is, just imagine that being a loft hatch. So you stick that there, and then it keeps the queen from coming upstairs into a super box. So you put the super on top like that, and it just separates the two. So all the excess food, nectar and honey gets stored up here in a frame. Some of them are drawn in here and some aren't. So this is called a dry super, and these were left out last autumn for the bees and wasps and anybody else who wanted to have a go at them, to clean out the cells and dry them out, what we call dry supers. So this is a dry drawn super frame. There's nothing on here, it's just literally dry as a bone. And what will happen is the bees will come up here, they'll find all this and they'll start cleaning out. All this junk will all get removed. They're very industrious, they like everything clean, which is good for us because this is actually food production now. And they'll start drawing out this like they started drawing out the nest boxes. And so what I try and do is I try and, you know, leave one drawn comb, and if you're going to put a new one in, if you're a new beekeeper, you're going to have to just put all non-drawn or foundation frames in. You haven't got any choice. I don't, unless you can borrow a frame from a fellow beekeeper or whatever, or even steal one. If you can just steal one and put it in the middle here, it will get the bees to come up and they'll start drawing the others. They'll work from the middle out, which is why I put the foundation frames at the outside, normally one or two in. So that's one in, isn't it? So back to the concept of the queen excluder, the nest and the brood all goes on, all the activity, day-to-day activity goes on in the nest, and then you go through the loft hatch and store stuff that you don't really need immediately. We've all got that, haven't we? We've got loft full of stuff that you don't need immediately, so that can all be stored away out of the way, and it allows all this area to be kept clear for its intended purposes. So that's how it works. So I'm going to be fairly bullish with the colony that are quite big, the Italian lot. I'm going to put 2 supers on because they're covered. It will keep it warm. There are enough bees just about to be born to come up here and heat this, and it will also give them something to do to start cleaning out the little cells, start drawing out a bit of foundation, and hopefully then we'll be ready for when the conker trees come out and various other bits that they go foraging for. So that's today's introduction. I'm going to get suited and booted and nip down there, and we'll go through it as we go along. Oh, before I forget, I found this little lady in the supers. That is, oh, dropped her. That is a queen bumblebee who was looking for either a home to hibernate over the winter. I found her wedged in one of these here somewhere. That is a queen bumblebee. The camera will look at her or not, I don't know. And yeah, this is the one that people think are honeybees, because they say, oh, we've got bees in the garden. They're actually seeing a queen bumblebee coming out of hibernation and bouncing up the walls like this. They bounce up the walls looking for somewhere to nest or make a new nest. So she didn't make it, unfortunately, for whatever reason, I don't know. But that is a, and I think if you look at the back she's got some white hairs just there, so that's called a buff-tailed, B-U-F-F, buff-tailed bumblebee. Okay, so we're down here now. I've emptied this brood box out, ready for this colony on the top box. I went on a bit of a ramble, which I know you're probably all very surprised about. It does happen occasionally. At the end of part 1 down here, about why I thought the bees were in a mood. So there are various issues. So we'll just have a little look round. I'm not sure if they've come out and tagged me. One has come out and sort of given me like, what are you doing here again? And I thought it might be the airflow through the hive, and so I've opened the entrance. As you can see, I've opened the entrance right up there, and it may be that we're lulled into a false sense of security with that noise. A lot of Nasnoff going on there. Pollen still coming in. Steady stream of bees, so there might be a nectar flow on. We're not sure yet until we get in there. I left this out for them to clear up if they were short of grub, and they haven't touched it. So there's one there, he says. So there's one there that's, you know, having a look, but they're not desperately starving. So it's well known. And here's the other one without the door front on at all. It's just a full entrance now. You can see how big that is. It's right away across. So I'm getting a little bit tagged and a little bit bashed here, but it's nothing like what it was on Friday. And it's quite cool today. It's dropped from 22 to about 13-14 degrees. So as I said on a video a way back, they know the weather's changing before we do, and maybe it was there's one with pollen just come in. Maybe it's changing weather. They sense the pressure, which we'll go through in understanding the colony, and maybe it was the airflow in the hive. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it's the transition between the older bees that are here, still here from the winter, and the new bees, pardon the pun, who are going to be born and form part of the colony very soon. So I'll just take all the covers off and we'll start going through them. Right, here we go. So I'm going to do the smoke trick, and then as before, I think it's better if you look over my right hand shoulder on this one and the left hand shoulder on the other one. You'll see what's going on. So we're just going to split the brood box, that bit, we're going to split that in half and put this bit down here, cover the other bit that's stationary, and start sorting through. We don't have to look for a queen today because we saw her on Friday. The chances of her going in a day are very remote, but I do want to have a quick whiz through and check for queen cells because they are a little bit cramped. So that's today's job, and replace a few frames. Okay, so here we go. That will do. They seem a bit calmer, but we haven't lifted the lid yet, so proof is in the pudding as always. But there's a different note inside that box, which is encouraging, but I'm not going to open my mouth too quick. Right, I'll do the syrup trick on the others. So they're done. Always check for the queen on the lid before you bang any bees off. Never do that. Don't ask me how I found out. Right. You will see, he says, let me see if I can get, no, I can't. Down here, right at the back here, there is very white comb. Let me see if I can see it, show you. I'd rather not keep taking this camera in and out of the stand. Can you see this really white comb here? When that starts appearing, fresh comb like that, pure white, you need to be thinking to yourself, if that's on a super box, that means they need more room. And here they're trying to extend the cells outwards, so they're running out of space and they know it. So that puts pressure on the hive to start thinking differently, which is what you don't want just at the moment. Don't really want them thinking about swarming, and that's one of the key indicators of swarming, pressure. And it's all to do with pressure on the hive, pressure on the nest. Well, that's what it is. So we'll just whiz through these, and I'm going to be fairly brutal on these and get shot of anything that's dodgy old honey or not of any use to them. And if I get a chance, if they're calm enough, I'm going to try and steal any slabs of brood, i.e. capped brood, and stick it downstairs and lift some more up, but we'll see. These two here and here are joined. I can see here they're already joined with wax. So there is a nectar flow. Look at that. Absolutely solid with honey that they're making in the brood nest. So we want that to move upstairs. Luckily they haven't capped it, so that will be moved upstairs once I put a super on. This is where we thought, or I hoped, that the nest would move to, and it is there. So it's kind of not, it's not drawn there, and I don't know why, but they will draw that out eventually, he says. Right, here's the change in colour in the wax. So this is definitely a nest frame. They're getting that prepared. There are a few eggs in there, but not many. So that's becoming part of the nest. You see how much calmer they are. So it is literally the change in the weather, I'm sure. That's a rubbishy old frame, but it's got brood in it. So I'm going to move that further back, right to the outside. So when it's hatched, I can steal it and get rid of it. Wall-to-wall brood. Look at that, great big slab of brood. Fantastic. So that can go down, actually. I'll take that out. That can go downstairs now. And they're reasonably calm, so we can just go through this method of constantly putting, that will have some young, yeah, that's got eggs in it, in those cells. I'm not sure you can see, there's not much sunlight. We'll have a look at those. Here's a drone. Can you see him there? How much bigger he is. His abdomen is much bigger than the worker bees. Where's my thing? There he is. I'll try and steal. Where's he gone? Anyway, that's what you can practice marking your queens on if you're a little bit nervous about that situation. This one's good enough to go downstairs. Another new frame. Look at that. That just had eggs in it a little while ago. All of this is laid out in new grubs. Can you see all the new grubs in here? This is the edge of the nest. She's laid out further and further. Little bit of stored honey around the edge. Going well. That's nectar and stores, so we want that to go to the outside, preferably, so they move it. And here's one of those freestyle ones that they've just absolutely rammed full of drones, which is really annoying, and I don't want them. And it may sound cruel and look cruel, but I'm going to sacrifice that frame. I'm just going to shake the bees off and leave that out. The drone will die, I'm afraid. Nothing I can do about that. I just don't want that much brood of drone comb in the hive. There's just not enough for anything else to be going on. They're starting to draw this out, you see. So that can go right next to the nest. That's honey. So that can go out one at the edge. And hopefully now, there's another honey frame. That can go at the outside. Actually, no, they can have that on the very outside. And they may move that up. Come on, out of the way. Right, so we haven't seen the queen, and we need a fresh frame at the back here because this bit sticks out, this comb sticks out. So I'm going to put a new frame at the back. And hopefully they'll start drawing that. Now I'm getting bothered, but it's nothing like it was on Friday. You saw it on Friday, it was awful. And so it's proofs in the pudding. There was some change and they knew. They knew for definite that the weather was changing. And that is probably it. Partly that, partly the flow of air through the hive, possibly. But that's it now. We've got to look for the queen on the other one. I'll bring you around to the other side. Hang on a second. See, lovely new queen. Lots of pheromone, lots of bees now, so they do need a super. Look at that. So your instincts fool you. You think, is it the queen? Is it me? You can't take anything in beekeeping personally because they don't look at you. As somebody said yesterday at the lecture, they don't love you back. So they are just an insect, and fairly mercenary insect as well. They will just, whatever they can get, they'll get. So here's another one of those, look, absolutely riddled with drones. So unfortunately that was a bad idea. That's one frame gone. That's a good frame to leave on the outside because it's full of pollen. And it's sort of the edge of the nest. I'll give them a break on that. So lovely fresh comb that they're drawing out. Anyone seen the queen yet? She'll be around here somewhere if there's any eggs on here. And currently they're not, but they are drawing that out, so there is enough for them to do that, enough food coming in to do that. Another frame that can be laid out, might even have eggs in it. I'll just check quickly in the, I'll just move this frame so I can look in the light. Yeah, there are eggs and grubs in there, not enough to move it upstairs yet. That's being capped over. That's not a very good frame actually. We'll move that to the outside. So they are a little bit tetchy still, but nowhere near as they were on Friday. And this is probably the transition of a whole new colony that's being born now. There's the queen. See how it's all calmed down and she's just meandering about. And he says, gone. Oh, there she is on the corner. So we've seen the queen. Move this polleny type one to the outside. Another polleny one, lots of pollen, that can go to the outside. And that can stay down here. Because it's full, this one will probably go up. I'll put this upstairs just because I want them to start doing something with it. Here's our drone frame. Look at all that lovely drone all in one place, some of it being born. We've seen a few drones around and here are a few more. Fair cluster of them. Can you see the bigger ones here? There. They're all drones. So that's good. Now, can we get rid of one of these? Yep. That's got pollen on, so I'm going to save that and ditch the other one because there's far too much junk in here. Sorry if I move the camera then, I just saw my... Yeah, you see, that's a horrible frame. It's not drawn, it's full of knackered old junk honey, so that can go. So that can now be the front frame, and depending on how it goes, how the season progresses, eventually we'll get shot of that. This one was the other. This is the other one with all the drone on it, with the two stick things in there. That's got to go. And I prefer to shake the bees into the bottom box. That's got pollen in, so that can now be the new outside of the nest. We'll move the whole shebang of this up, but we need to actually move that and then put those other two frames, don't we, with brood on. Come on, you lot, get out. Come on, you're going to get squashed. Right. So because the queen's at the back here, I'm going to try and slink these two in here. These were the solid brood frames. They'll all hatch and retain heat at the bottom of the hive that goes up to the top of the hive. So that's that. There's one down there going to get squashed. Can you move, please? Thank you. So that's a good day at the office so far. We've got 1, 2, they say, look, they're hassling me, they see the movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a bit frames of brood there. See what a difference that makes. They don't mind if I'm moving something that's got syrup in it. Can we get rid of another frame downstairs? Maybe not. So we'll just put this new one in here so we're not damaging anybody or anything. They can draw that out or start drawing it if they want to. So that's that okay. Right, come on you lot, you're going to have to move. Right, now we've got the nest box together. Can you see that? I think I'm going to have to lift you up. Wait for it. Yeah, I'm getting a bit hassled here, but it's nowhere near it like it was on Friday. So there's a view of the box together, the nest box together. We'll just push this up. Oh, put this frame back in here. More for them to go at. Sweet treat for them to a couple of people have said to me, don't you drown them with that, and anything that just lands on their wings or their bodies, they just lick it off each other. You can see them coming up here. They're not bothered about that at all. So this goes on here, and I always try and do the doors to the loft. I try and do those in line with the frames this way, so you can come up, the bees can come up through here and go into the top box. So here you can see they'll tidy all this lot up. All this where I've been scratching to get the honey out last year. They'll clean all of this up. You'll be gobsmacked. There's little bits down in the bottom. They won't store anything in there until it's immaculately clean, and next week we'll see what they've done with that, and it will confirm whether there is a good honey flow, or nectar flow I should say, or not. So that's it. There are 1 or 2 bees coming out. There's one just here hassling me, but they're not horrendous. They're not horrendous like they were Friday. Totally different to Friday. Come on love, you're gonna have to clear off. Oh, you can't see her. There's one here. She's gonna have to go before I put the roof on. There you go. banging roos is not a good idea on the floor, so if you're going to drop a roof on the floor, just drop it once, because the vibration goes through the floor. You'll be gobsmacked what they sense. So we'll stop the video and I'll move on to the other one. Okay folks, so we're on to the second one. I'm going to inspect the colony in the top box, and I'm just going to move it across and show you as I move it across, okay? Okay, here we go. Check for the queen, nothing there. And this time I'm going to do the syrup trick, but I'll be lifting them over as we go and ditching frames as we go as well. They've bridge combed, or sorry, they've brace combed this, and these are angsty now, so they need space. That's got a fair bit of stores, so I'm just going to leave them with that for now. This one's being drawn out nicely, so that can stay upstairs somewhere there. We're onto a nest frame now. So that's all brood, so that can stay upstairs. And there, I'm not going to disturb that or the order of it too much, but that is definitely where the nest starts. Actually, we could move that out so that they make use of that other bit. This was a nest frame by other standards last time. That's honey. So that can go here at the front. It's a nice new frame, and they're storing honey in there. They're not using that for nest. Full slab of brood, no queen to worry about, so that can go downstairs. I'll leave it on the side here. There she is. I'm not going to risk, this should really go downstairs, but I'm not going to risk putting that on the side and losing her. So that will just have to stay up for now. That one's been capped over, that one's full of grubs. So this nest is racing away, and they definitely need space. Hopefully we'll just caught them in time. Can you see this bracing comb here? That's because they're out of space. You don't really want to see that, to be honest, but I'm going to leave it as is, and next time I'll scrape it off when they've calmed down. That's a full slab of brood with a cup cell at the bottom, several cup cells. this bit here. Can you see this little bit here? That's a cup cell and there's nothing in it, so they're getting claustrophobic. Another slab of brood that can go downstairs. We've seen the queen now, so that can go over here. Another one that they're drawing out, no eggs in it yet, but that can go or stay upstairs, I should say. Drone brood in that blooming awful frame. Thankfully I didn't do too many of those. So that's going to be sacrificed. That's going. And that's not a very good frame. It's got honey in it though, and it has got some brood, so we'll just stick that right at the edge of the nest here at the top to try and encourage them to get rid of it. Steal a drawing pin. And there's that old insulation one, so that can go. Another one that can go. So we're working through it and getting some new comb up in the top box. Try not to bang these boxes and shake the bees out, they hate it. I'm just going to leave them out at the front there and hope they decide to fly off. We might have to bang it at the end, but so it's this lot that have turned now, probably because they're out of space. So, same process again. Another dark slab of brood, that can go. You have to be fairly brutal at this time of year. I don't actually, can you see? I'm still trying to find comb in the other boxes now. Sorry, I'm trying to find see, that's pollen. There's pollen there and there's a little cup cell there on the side, but I can keep that at the edge of the nest downstairs. So that's brood in there that needs to be looked after, and there, but it's mainly full, so I'm going to leave that down. They've used that for honey mainly. There's no nectar in there, so that can go next to it, or actually outside, well actually next to it, so that they can hopefully store that upstairs. Have we got any babies in here? Not really. Oh yeah. So that can come upstairs now. Predominantly babies. Lots of relayed cells there, so that can come upstairs. They're getting a bit grumpy, so I'm not going to go too mad now. And another one. Hatched brood being relaid. One more and that'll do. So we'll probably put there's the last one. That has got grubs in. So I'm going to have to be very delicate here because I've got bees all around my fingers and the queen's moved on from wherever she was. But at least those frames fit in that box now, thankfully. Right, bingo. So this box is going on top. So I'm just going to walk you around here. I'll put this lid back on. Stop them being quite so awkward and annoying. That's a slab of brood that can go down. So I'm going to have to pick you up and walk you around because they're not enjoying this. That's what I've done so far, the mess I've made. In their opinion anyway. Drone brood, rammed, full of drone brood, lovely. What's in here? That's pollen. That's absolutely heaving with pollen, so we'll leave that outside of the net. Yeah. Got tagged. Yeah, had enough. That's sort of an angsty swarmy noise because they're not happy. So you can see when they've got the hump, they've got the hump. Come on, you. So they have had enough. And it smells like rain, so that could be it. It's gone overcast, the lid's off, they've got the hump. So sorry I'm not explaining things very much, but I'm just trying to get on with it because they are fed up. Queen excluder. I'm going to be bold with these and put 2 on. Just because of the inclination of this variety to just produce masses and masses and masses of nest. So I can't turn the video off because I want to just get this lot done. Right, I'll unclip the camera and show you the story so far, which is a fish lyric, but anyway. So, we've now got the queen excluder there, 2 supers for all those born bees, or the bees that are being born in here and here, to go up there. They can start tidying it up. Hopefully it will calm them down. There are bees here on the inside of that top box that we took apart. I've got all of those dodgy combs that I call them now. It's such a shame, but you know, you will struggle, or I will struggle now. I'll just have 4, 5, 6 frames of brood that are all drones, and you just can't run a colony like that. It's just poor management with that many drones. You only need you know, when that comb at the front there is born out, then she'll just refill it immediately and refill it immediately, and that will be constantly full of drone bees, and that's enough for the area. It's enough for the colony. That is enough. So that was an experiment that went wrong, but you know, lots of things go wrong. I got the introduction of that queen wrong, so you know, nobody's perfect. So that's the reason for doing it. I'm just going to tidy up now and I'll walk you around at the end. Quick recap then. Look at that monster box. I'm getting a little bit hassled by these. There's weather change coming. You can see storm clouds out the back here. It's coming in. They know something. They've had enough. A bit like last time. So there's that one shut up. And they've calmed down a bit. I don't think they were the problem. There's a few bees here that I've shaken off. There. And look at the amount of Nasnoff going off there, trying to coax them back in again. But you know, sometimes you get really hassled by bees. They really get the hump and you don't know why. Down here I've used this rather gruesome looking 18th century torture tool to just scrape the tops of the honey off. All that brood will just get chilled and die. These girls, I better actually just shake them off, and I've brushed the others off with this. This is a horsehair bee brush, really soft brush that you can just sweep them off. See if I can show you that. So it's not horrendous, but it just makes them decide. that they're going to leave. They'll still hassle me for a while, but basically they're going back in the nest, and it must be a pressure change that set them off, I would guess. Okay.